Okay, so remember that I told you all that I would try to help you do this Google Doc thing, and I've received quite a few emails with some questions, so I thought that I would make this really quick video. So as you can see me, and you can also see my screen, which is kind of cool. So here's the screen. So we're going to go to my mail, and if you look here at the top, the drive that kind of pops up, you're going to click that. And when you click that, this is going to come up. Now, when we look at the drive, I want you to look right here where it says folder, okay? You can create folders in your drive and label them just as I have done over here. You can see that I have all kinds of stuff because this is pretty much my life. So the first thing I want to show you is how to create an assignment. So I'm going to go to Wordly Wise Lists. I'm going to go to Create and Form. And up is going to pop a form. I told you before that I'm partial to flowers, so I choose that. Up here, I need to title my form. So I'm going to say Honors for Wordly Wise 18C. Once I hit OK, not only does it do it here, it also does it here for me. Remember before that I told you that we really needed to make sure that we automatically collected the emails as students submit them. If you are planning to use Flubberoo, this is imperative. That way you don't have to be worried about whether or not children spelled their email correctly. Alright, so I'm going to start here with student name. It is a text answer and it's required. And then I hit copy. And I'm going to start with number 1. And for number 1, all I have to do is I have to enter in the word for 18C that my kids have to identify. So I'm going to do that really quickly as soon as I find 18. Okay, so the first word is genuine. Okay, so I've entered my word. Sometimes I create multiple choice questions, so you can go here and you can create multiple choice. And if you do that, it'll give you the choices. So you could enter, once in a while I would do A, B, C, D. For these, I could enter the words. There are words listed here, and then they can choose it. You can also go to check boxes, which allows students to check one or more. So if you're giving a test and you have something that says, okay, please select all of the muscles in the hand, and then you choose a couple that aren't in the hand, the students have to select those. You can also choose from a list, and that gives you a long list of things. I sometimes use it if I have to use vocabulary. There's also paragraph tests, which give nice long answers. And then, as I told you before, there's scales and grids. But I don't use any of those because I don't teach math. So I go to text, and all they're going to do is enter their answer here. It's required, and I'm going to copy it and move on to the second word, which is forgivable. Now, as you can see, here we have an empty line. You can use this as a hint space for your children, or you can use it as directions. I'm going to use this to tell my kids that for number 2, they're looking for a synonym. I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to come back here because I forgot to tell them in number 1 that they were looking for an antonym. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video, and I will be right back when I'm finished uploading this assignment. Okay, so we're back, and you should be able to see that I finished my screen. So now I'm going to come down here, and if you remember, I told you that you could actually click this button, and it allows you to see that students could actually resubmit their work. So if you wanted to give a quiz, or if you wanted to give an understanding comprehension test, but you needed students to know where they got things wrong, then you would want to choose this, so that when they got something wrong, they could actually go in and change their answers. I don't normally do that for homework, so I'm going to send form. And up here, they give you 2 things. They give you a link that you could email students, or they give you a way to notify by email, which is normally what I do for my kids. All I have to do is type in honor, and up pop my honors for kids. You can include the form in the email, but I never do because kids rarely read directions, and if you include the form in the email, then that means that they're going to try to fill it out in the email, which doesn't work. So I unclick that. You can also choose to have a copy of the assignment sent to you. I rarely do that because I get enough emails as it is. And then you can customize a message. I commonly put, thanks a bunch bunch. That's what I'm normally known for, is bunch bunch. And I hit send. Then it says, okay, what would you like us to do with this assignment? Well, I need a spreadsheet so I can record kids' answers. So I hit create. So this is all done. You can see up here that it's setting up my spreadsheet. And if I click out, you can see right here where it says 18C responses. I can click on that. And here are my responses. So the next thing that we need to do is I need to enter an answer guide. So I'm going to go to form, and I'm going to ask to see a live form. And it's going to pop up for me. And I'm going to hit my name. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to enter all of my words. So if I was doing number 1, it says genuine. I've got to see what the word choices are here. And that's the answer. Now, remember that I told you that Google Docs is reliant on spelling. So when you tell kids that they have to be careful, you also have to be careful. So I'm going to enter my answer guide, and I will be back. Hi. Okay, so I'm done. My answer guide, as you can see. Down here, it says that I can get a copy of my responses. Once again, I don't do that because I get enough emails. So I hit submit. And it's going to say your username is going to be recorded. That's fine. And there it is. So then, if you'll notice here, it says your response has been recorded. So then I hit thanks. And here are my answers. I go to my answers, I bold them, and I turn them red. Okay. And now I'm going to show you, if you remember, I talked about a formula that you had to have in order to grade these papers. So I'm going to insert a couple of columns. And I always call this their score, and then I call the next thing their grade. All right, so their score. Remember that there is a formula for this. So it's equals, and it's array formula so the array of this row and the sum of D2 to AG2. Don't forget that you have to use the $sign in order to tell the computer that you're creating an answer guide. Then you hit that it has to be equal to D2 and AG2. And you hit enter. And this number here should be the exact number that you end up with here. And then the grade is easy. It's just equals and the sum. It's the sum of that number divided by itself. And I told you in class that I like things to be neat, so I always make that a percentage. Okay, so that's done. So now let's look at how you can score something. So I will go into 15B. And here is 15B. I'm going to view responses. And here are my responses. Actually, I think I've already got 15B. Let's go into 15C because I think I already have that one graded. Let's go into 15C. Okay. Now, for my kids, I sometimes feel bad. So I click on this, I hit Tools, and I go to Spelling. This goes through the spelling to make sure that they've spelled things correctly. This is especially important when you're doing freshman work because they are commonly a little bit lax with their spelling. I do make the rule that if I can't find the word that I need, if the computer doesn't pick it up, then I don't fix it. Like for this one, it's supposed to be, oh, there it is. Okay, my seniors did a pretty good job, not much is spelled wrong. So I'm going to go to, now remember we talked about this in class. I'll make this nice and big so you all can see it. I'm going to go to Insert, and I need to insert a script. And the script gallery is going to ask me which script. I need to insert Flubberoo. And there it is. I'm going to install it. So as Flubberoo is installing, remember that Flubberoo is going to allow us to not just grade the assignment, but also to email the students their scores. I do Flubberoo when I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to do the array formula for every kid. Also remember that when you do the array formula, you can copy and paste so that you don't have to retype it every time. Okay, so they're asking me if I'm authorized to do this. So I'm just going to tell them that yes, I am. And it says you can run the script now. So then I go here and I close out of that. And I go to Flubberoo and I say grade assignment. So here it comes saying, okay, we're going to grade the assignment. So it automatically recognizes that these two things are the student identification ones. So all I do is just make sure that I haven't entered anything that isn't graded, and then I hit continue. Then it asks me, okay, so where are the correct answers? And I tell it the correct answers are my answers, and I hit continue. And it will work for, maybe 4 or 5 seconds. It'll say grading complete, and you view the grades. I will tell you that normally it doesn't take this long. I'm not sure why it's taking this long, but... Okay, so here you can see my responses, and here are the percentages. Remember that Flubberoo can also show you... Oh, I'm going to have to pick this up later. I will be back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm back really quickly. My freshmen have just entered the room, and they're creating some work on The Lady and the Tiger, which is the story that I told you about last weekend. It's about a princess who has to decide whether or not she wants her lover to be eaten by a tiger or marry a woman she hates. So they're preparing a debate. So I'm going to create a presentation, and I'm going to email this presentation to the 2 groups. So each group will have their own presentation, and while we do the debate, their presentation will be up in front of them. In addition, they can send me the presentation, and it takes away them from having to write notes. So I'm going to choose label for them. They're probably going to change it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so there we go. I'm going to call this Group 1. Group 1, what do you have? What do you guys have?
Tiger.
The tiger. Okay. So Group 1 has the tiger, which means that they're going to have to defend whether or not it was the lady or the tiger. I'm going to add a couple of slides for them. And now I'm going to share this presentation with the kids who are in the group. So you can email this link, or you can put this link up on the board, or in any way you'd like to do it. It's awfully long, so I prefer to email my kids. So I'm going to email the kids who are inside this group. One of them is absent, but that's okay. She can still get the presentation. Okay. So I'm going to send this to them. And you need to make sure that on the side it says that you can edit, so that way the kids can actually edit the work. And if you watch the screen for in a minute, most of them have already signed into their email, and you're going to actually see them to begin to sign into this presentation. We're going to go back to my drive, and we're going to create another presentation, because that presentation is going to be group 2, and they're doing the lady. Natalie, honey, you want to shut the door when you come back in with the computer, please? Thank you. All right, I'm going to add a couple of slides for them, and then I'm going to share. And I'm going to share to my kids who are inside this group. And again, just make sure that the kids can actually edit the work, so when they get in there, they can start to edit. If you look up here, you can see that in group 2, kids have already signed into the presentation, so you can see their names right up here. And in group 1, we have Danny and Emmy in there already, and the other kids are working to get in. So if you watch my screen, you may begin to notice kids making some edits to the screens themselves. Emmy, could you just type in a title real quick? Go to slide 1 and type in a title. Alright, so Emmy's in there and she's going to type in a title for you so you can watch. If you look over here, you can see that it's already changing right over there. So if I click that, there it is. So she's just changed slide 1 to the tiger, and I'm watching it. We can also go to, we can make this a little bit bigger. And so as they work, you're going to see their changes. And if we go to group 2, you can see that group 2 has already started making their changes to slide 1. And I can see their work. You can also click up here, and over here there's going to be a list of who has opened the document. And I can type a message to my kids. And as you can see, they're already changing the style, which I told you they would do. So I can say, great work. And Alyssa and Brandon and Grace and Liza can actually click on that, and they'll be able to see that I put great work. And one of them maybe could type back to me so you can see them type back. So there's Grace. Oh, there's Brandon. He says thanks. And so this is also a way that kids can communicate if they're sitting across the room from each other, but they're working together. It's also a way they can communicate with you if you're not in the classroom. I'm in the classroom today, but I'm not going to be in the classroom tomorrow. So as they're working on this presentation, I can watch their progress. Okay, so that's how you share presentations with students who are in your room. And remember that these presentations, the kids can go in and work on them here, but the beauty of Google Docs is that if they don't finish here and they have to finish, they can also finish at home or in study hall. They don't necessarily have to have the same computer. So that's a great benefit of this. So I'm going to go really quickly and then get back to Flubberoo so you can see that work, and I will be back in just a minute. Okay, so we're back for a little bit. I want to show you how to email your kids the Flubberoo scores. So if you look here, we have Flubberoo, and I've already asked Flubberoo to grade, and I've already recorded grades. So we're going to go up to the top of the screen. We're going to ask Flubberoo to email grades. Flubberoo is going to pop up and say, where would you like me to use, what would you like me to use to email? In my computer and on my system, the username is always the email. I can come back here and say, here are your 15C scores. Great job. I can also include the answer key if I want to. I don't do that, but some teachers like kids to be able to see the answer key. And I hit continue. And in a few minutes, Flubberoo says that it's notified 5 students of their grades. And if I look here, there are 5 students, which means I have 3 missing. 1 passed in a homework pass, but the other 2 didn't. So I go really quickly to my Google Docs, my messages. I hit compose, and I send a quick message to the 2 kids who have not passed in so that's Megan and Mitchell. So I'm going to send that out to them so they know immediately that I don't have that assignment from them. I use this a lot with students. I'll email them very quickly and say I don't have this assignment, and within a day I have the work. Okay, so now let's look quickly at a couple of the sites that I'd shown you previously. This is planbook.com. This is the book that I use to plan my classes. As you can see, I can look at the week, or I can come up here and I can look at the day. Planbook.com is $10 a year. I told you in class I would pay $100 because I can upload the standards, which just makes my life a lot easier. I also wanted to show you the Class Dojo again. Remember that we're managing behavior. It's free. You just have to sign up. I'm a teacher. There are all my kids. And again, if I wanted to start something, I could go here to Freshman English. I can start it. I can reset points. And I can actually watch my class and say, gee, these group of kids are working really well together, so I will give Brandon a teamwork and Liza a teamwork and Alyssa a teamwork. Or I can say, gee, the whole class is really doing very well, so I'm going to reward multiple students. Except for Brooklyn, who's not here today, and I can say give award, and I can say, gee, they're all working awfully hard. In addition, I can go to attendance, and it says that I can mark somebody absent, so I can actually go over here and mark her absent, and I can save, and this way I don't have to I'm not going to select her by accident, and that's a really cool way to keep track, not only of this, but it can also keep track of your attendance. So there's that. And I wanted to show you the Bubble site that I showed you previously. So I'm going to load my drive really quickly, and I'm going to go to technology class. Because I actually have to copy and paste this website. So I'm going to go to here. And go there. And for some reason, Bess has an issue with bouncy balls. So we're just going to override the block. I can choose how long, so I'll just block it out for a few minutes. All right. So here are the bouncy balls. They're all going to fall. And I just have to say microphone so that it realizes that I want it to pick up stuff from my microphone. Okay. So now when the kids talk or when I talk, I'm very close to the computer and very close to the microphone. So as you can see, the balls are bouncing very high. The further away I get from the microphone, the less the balls are going to bounce. And the softer I talk, the less the balls are going to bounce. This is also a way where if you have somebody come to your desk and you need them to be very quiet, you can say, let's look at the balls and see how loud that we're talking. And this can keep it from distracting the class. Okay, so I think that that's about all that I needed to show you, and this video is very long, so I'm going to pop it here. I am also going to upload something on Prezi, so be patient. But if you get this video and you find it useful, go ahead and give me a buzz back and say thanks a bunch. And let me know if you need anything else. I hope you have a great week, and I hope to see you soon.